Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why it's easier to get what you want when you go on no-fap/semen retention. And why it's a little bit harder for you to get what you want when you decide to repeatedly relapse. Apparently your higher self, your all-knowing self, your best version, you start coming into closer contact with your divine self when you go on, let's say, no-fap, and you really just treat your body very divinely, meaning everything that you consume through your mouth, whatever you eat, through whatever you read, whatever you take information from, however you pray, however you meditate. If you just do 100% clean detox, and I don't mean just by eating, I mean by like every single thing that you do. If it's very clean, the things that you consume, eating, the things you listen to, the things that you watch, the things that you do on a daily basis. It's funny because a lot of, let's say, some religions have, let's say, like modern day prophets. They have modern day prophets, and this is a very risque kind of thing to say. But the thing is, the reason why it could maybe work out that way is because the people who proclaim themselves as such is that what they do on a, let's say, daily basis, what they do on a consistent basis, is very, let's say, divine-like, or it's very insightful, meaning they don't consume any bad things anytime, and then they use that insight that they get, and they put it as insight from the Most High. Now, is it true or is it not? I mean, it's up to you to decide. But the thing is, anybody can really become like this, meaning like the answers to their problems, any questions that they may have, that they might have in the present, the future, or the past, all of those things might start panning themselves out in the long run. They might start panning themselves out by themselves. They might start be taking care of things that they had problems with in the long run. All of those things might start panning themselves out by themselves once you're detached from the outcome. See, the thing is, the difference between someone who proclaims himself as a modern day, let's say, prophet, and then someone who isn't, is because a lot of let's say civilians and normal people are worry stricken. They worry about everything. They're always obsessed with how things can pan out. They're always thinking about how things are gonna happen. How is this gonna happen? But the thing is, it's not really your business to be worried about how things are gonna pan out. It's up to you to talk about what you're gonna. I mean, give up. Let's say. Talk about what you're gonna say, or write down what you have problems with, and then once you put all of the things that you have problems with, there has to be a point where you literally are detached from how certain things are going to come about. And this is pretty much the difference. The man who has the most faith that all of his problems, the things that he has written out, are going to be handled by, let's say, a power that is not with him, but with, let's say, a omnipresent type of source, aka the Most High. A person who has that type of faith that even if the situation looks bleak, and he still thinks that things are going to handle themselves out, because he is practicing this small thing called faith. The mass majority of people do not have faith in anything. They do not have faith. They do not think that even if they pray, that they don't believe the things that are coming out of their mouth. They're worry stricken. They sit down on their couch and they worry about everything. Their life is on the defense. They're living a life in defense. They're always defensive. They plan out their days so they don't think they can. So they plan out their days so their fear-stricken mind can play it safe. Their mind is rattled with things that could go wrong, and they live religiously about how things may go wrong. They are passionate about the things saying this or things going the worst. And they live their life like this. They don't have any faith. They don't have any faith at all. And this shows in their results in life. This shows the more you're obsessed with how things are going to happen, the more it pretty much isn't really going to happen. The more things that they're just really not going to happen, because you're too obsessed with how things are actually going to transpire, and you never act out on faith. The man who actually acts out on faith and knows certain spiritual laws and realizes all his needs are taken care of, regardless of the current situation, is usually the person who starts winning a lot more in life, because he is acting out on faith. Faith is literally one of the biggest things that you can utilize. Everybody has this divine right of faith. But the thing is, if you go on NoFap, if you go on retention, you start really feeding yourself with very positive material, very, very high vibrational material, and you also just eat really good foods, you meditate, you act out on faith on certain things. And there's a difference. There's a scientific way to act out on faith. Let's say if you're trying to attract, let's say, a lover in your life, you have to start acting out as if that person is arriving. So you might, when you go to sleep, you might have your bed, and you might give some room for the person that you want to come into your life. You give them a room, a place to sleep right next to you. Now, this might act crazy to the normal person, but this is called having faith that whatever your divine right of, let's say, having a fulfilling, let's say, relationship starts to come about because you're acting out on faith. A lot of people just are not acting out on faith, and the more you fap, the more you release, the more less faith you're going to have, and the less results that you're going to carry with yourself. People like results. The more faith you have and the more action you act out on faith, the more likely the things that you want are going to happen to you. And when it comes, you can show people how you did it. But a lot of people just don't have faith. They're too obsessed with how certain things are going to happen. They're too obsessed with how things are going to happen. How is that possible? How is that going to work out? That possibly can't work out. It's not going to work out. And this is why they keep getting the same results. When we were born, we were literally programmed to dictate whatever is going on the outside, and take it to heart, and take it to heart, and then let it be the same as what's going on in the inside. The difference is, let's say someone who was born, let's say, into poverty. The thing is, for an example, is if that person is rich on the inside, And he has this delusional sort of thing where he realizes, he starts proclaiming that things are always getting better, and he has some sort of thing where some things, he sees himself in a different sort of circumstance. Eventually opportunities will start coming to him, and it's just up to that person to go out and act on their nudges. But the thing is, human nature is whatever we like to see on the outside is something that is, we take it as reality, and there's no fight or any change in us to change anything in the inside. And that's why we'll literally get the same results. But the person who's, even if the situation on the outside is not into his favor, but he has this belief in him, this maybe even delusional belief, this crazy belief that things are gonna pan out for him, eventually things will start mirroring out his belief, and things will start panning out for him in the long run. But I mean, a lot of people like to just look at their current situation, look at the outside circumstance, and they just take it as what it is, and nothing can change, and things will always be the same. And they put on a frown, they have put on a pout. Like, I even had someone who's close to me, he was like, people like to give up really quickly, even when it doesn't look like anything is going their way. They like to give up really quickly. They put a frown on their face. They have a very pessimistic attitude, and you can't really call yourself a leader if this is how you act. There is no way you can call yourself a leader, or a leader of men, or a leader of women, if the situation looks like it's going to be bad for you, and you're yielding, you surrender to the outside situation. There is no way you can call yourself a leader, or you can lead other people, if that is how you act. The thing is, you have to start acting out on faith, no matter what type of situation you're in. You have to have a straight attitude regardless of the outside circumstance, and then eventually things will start panning out. And like I said, when you go on retention, when you go on no fap, things will start. You'll start having a lot more faith about certain things in general, and things will eventually start panning out for you in the long run. You just have to have a belief that things are always getting better, no matter how the situation may look. And this is pretty much it. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe below. We'll see you in the next video.